And of course, when people talk about designing a new home or living in a modern home, they tend to focus on everything from the furniture to the kitchen to bedrooms, the cosmetic look of the house and so on. But of course, a home perhaps doesn't have the cozy feel unless the artwork is to the satisfaction of the owners. Well, one man who knows a bit about artwork is Padraig McCaul. Padraig is from Dublin, and some years back he took the unusual step of moving to McCaul Island in County Mayo, where he is now a full-time artist. Padraig, thanks very much indeed for joining us. What makes a man move from Dublin to Mayo?
So I've been painting McCaul in the west of Ireland for the last 10 years. So I've been going over there regularly, so that's been the source of most of my inspiration. But I've got 3 young children as well, under 7, and so really the house in Dublin was just too small. We needed to get space, and so that was a big driver in moving us over there. But it's the perfect place for me to be based for my work, for what I do, and so it's great to be living there, to be actually to be taking it in every single day. Every time I go to the studio, I'm walking through through the countryside.
And was it for a draw or a love of Mayo, or is it just that the landscape down there, is amenable to good art?
Well, it's definitely amenable to good art, particularly McCaul Island. But no, I just fell in love with McCaul. The very first time I went there about 12 years ago for the first time, and completely fell in love with the place. It has everything for a landscape artist. It sums up what's best about I suppose the west of Ireland, what Ireland has to offer, just in terms of scenery, and particularly in weather like this that we have today, it's just stunning. And for my work, it proves to be, it really is the best source of inspiration for me to be there. And now I've got 3 young children, and I'm starting to introduce them into the paintings. I'm doing a lot of sort of family portraits, but they were very sort of semi-abstract. But so I'm in some ways, recording our life in McCaul in the paintings, at various spots and that.
So you have one of your pieces of work here with you. Is it Keem Bay? Is that what you call that place?
No, this would be Keem would be a very, very popular part of the island. This is actually over on the Duiga. So it's on the Atlantic Drive, and so this, and again, I'm using the landscape. All my paintings are about the landscape. So I'm either putting figures into it or I'm putting buildings just as focal points. In this case, it's the family painting. You might notice the Mayo football jersey, and so you can tell a lot in with small, giving the viewer small ideas. But you can put a lot of information into the painting. So, and even I suppose the heights of the children will be very similar, relative to my own children. You give a sense of age.
I'm not an expert on art, but is that what's called a modernist painting, on the basis that while they look like human beings, they're not actual human beings in the way they are painted?
Exactly, yeah. And I'm a self-taught painter. My passion is music, but my second passion is painting. So I wouldn't have the history, or I wouldn't have the background of an art student to be able to discuss this in full detail. All I know is that this is how I communicate through my own art. This is what I want to paint. But it'd be a very contemporary way of, I suppose, displaying and showing people. So it's not about giving direct, very explicit sort of features and that. It's just about, I want to get the atmosphere and the feel of the landscape. And by using very simple, just very, very simple characters, I can put lots of colour into it, so it all adds to creating a sense of harmony and colour in the painting.
So when someone like you moves to County Mayo, how difficult is it for an artist like you to develop a market and to let people know that you're in McCaul, and if they want a painting of, Crowpatrick or Ballina Main Street or Westport and all its colour and all its splendour and so on, how difficult is it for you to get the word out that you are there, and if they want a painting of a Mayo landscape, you can do it for them?
Well, it's like any business. I'm a self-employed, one-person business. The thing with me, one of the reasons I'm living in McCaul is because my business allows me to set up base. I could set up base anywhere, set up a studio and work away. When it comes to actually bringing the work out of the studio to an audience, I look at the year over the full 12 months. I mean, I do a lot of the art fairs. I do the art fair up in the RDS here every November. I do the craft fair in December. I do the Wexford Opera Festival. These are all big art, I suppose, art fairs that give me an audience of, say, between 10 and 15,000 potential audience. So you pop up shop, for a weekend or a few days, and that's why I'm doing the show here, because it's a perfect way of I suppose, getting to an audience in spring. It allows me to promote exhibitions I have coming up over the summer. It allows me to promote my painting workshops that I run over in Achill as well. So by living in Achill, it doesn't really have an impact on how I market my work. Because the marketing is all done through the art fairs like this and through the galleries. I work with about, say, six or seven galleries around the country, and then I do a lot of work online as well. And of course, once you have broadband, you can be anywhere else. Once you have broadband, you can promote yourself online throughout. So,
are Mayo immigrants in Australia or Canada or America, do they get in touch to say, look, could you do a painting for me of the main street in Claremorris?
Very seldom. I do commissions, but not. I mean, most of my 95% of my work is it's through the studio, and I sell through the galleries and through the shows here. I do the occasional commission, but a lot of that wouldn't necessarily be Mayo people. But it's more because my paintings are more about they're Irish paintings. I think. I mean, they capture the landscape, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a Mayo landscape that people are looking for. It's just they want the feel or the atmosphere of Ireland. So about 40% of my work actually does go abroad. Goes to the States, goes to the UK. We're shipping a painting to Australia, down in Cork through a gallery in Cork. So it's going worldwide, but it's all done from Achill.
Just two more questions before I let you go. I mean, is it difficult to make a living as an artist in Ireland at the moment?
It is challenging, but I mean, I've been making a living for the last 8 years full time, and my business has been growing upwards, slowly, but upwards over the last 5 years of recession. So I think if you treat it as a business and actually market it and drive it as any other business, you will actually find your audience. But it's about getting out there to find your audience. So that's why a show like this is perfect. You try and match what you do and who your audience are to a show like this, and say, okay, I'm pretty sure I'll find some of my audience in a show like this. And it's about doing that,
Last question, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and sample your work, where can they find you?
Simplest thing is the website, so it's padraigmccall.com.
padraigmccall.com. Okay, well, Padraig, thanks very much indeed for coming in to talk to us. It's a lovely piece of work, and continued success for the future.
Great.
That's artist Padraig McCaul there, who's based in Achill and moved to there from Dublin some years back, and is making a fine living as an artist.